name is Kit.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Streaming Things Crossing Streams. We're bringing it back for patrons only, but this time you get to enjoy this as a main feed enjoyer, you know?
Yeah, just a little taste in case you forgot what Crossing Streams was. Here's a little reminder.
It'll just be some popular movies and or shows that we have been watching to touch upon, but maybe don't want to devote to an entire episode. A lot of other pods just kind of do this. This is their whole thing, but this is what we do for funsies every now and then.
Yeah.
So we're not diving deep into House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones or The Boys. We'll just pop in and say, hey, we've been watching Wednesday season 2, baby, or something like that, you know, those kinds of things. As far as the frequency, it will be at least once a month or as often as we can.
As schedule permits.
But also we've got not old. I mean, we did it less than a year ago, but we did a huge deep dive of Fury Road that will become increasingly relevant in the next few minutes that we're going to drop in this episode as well. So for the people that aren't patrons that ever got to hear our impassioned love of Mad Max Fury Road, that is now going to be available to your enjoyment. Patrons got it many moons ago. Our Sons and Stars got it many moons ago. And that was a sweet Game of Thrones reference. But yeah, Steve, what's something that you've been watching that came out recently that you want to talk about?
Oh my gosh, Kit. You know your boy, he doesn't get out very often and see the movies because he's plugging away at the 1s and 2s over here in the Streaming Things studio, editing everything for you guys to
That's the
listen.
sound of the police.
Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the beast. I have to do it.
We have to do a KRS-One reference.
I'm sorry. I have to do it. But yesterday I was able to finally put my AMC A-list stubs pass to good use.
It's all Garfield, baby.
No, I did not. I actually... Hot take, I love Mondays. No, I'm kidding. I went to the movie theater and I finally got to see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
You hesitated because you didn't know if it started with a the.
I did. I had to look down at my notes. Like, is it the Kingdom?
No, there's already 2 thes in that
Apes?
title. They wouldn't put a third the. That's wild.
The Mad Men, I could see them doing it. They're
the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be fucking craziness.
This is, the titling of this franchise, we'll get into the movie in a minute, but the titling of the Planet of the Apes franchise is like so... It's adjacent to my hatred of Spider-Man Homecoming titles for movies where they have to have home in every fucking title, where eventually the natural end result of this is a movie coming out called The Planet of the Apes. The Planet of the Apes, the Planet of the Apes.
They committed to the bit. I respect it.
I do too.
There's nothing worse than like the Fast and Furious franchise where there's no title consistency.
There's no rules. Yeah.
That just pisses me off.
The only rule is family.
That's true.
Anyway, so I saw Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, starring Owen Teague, Freya Allen, and Kevin Durant, and Peter Macon. William H. Macy makes a pop-up appearance.
He does.
But I'm a huge fan of the original, not the original,
the Matt Reeves trilogy.
But the Matt Reeves trilogy where he directed only 2 of those 3 movies.
Yes.
But I'm a big fan of that trilogy. I'm not super into the older movies, if I'm being honest.
You mean the Tim Burton one?
Well, definitely not the Tim Burton one, but like from the one from the 60s and 70s. They're just a little too silly and hokey for me. But the most recent trilogy of films I love, I adore, especially the Matt Reeves movies. I actually am planning on going back and rewatching them at some point in my very busy schedule. But this is a continuation of that storyline. It takes place many generations after the last movie, the last time we saw Caesar. And so now we see a world that is actually legit. It is the kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, right? There's different tribes of apes running around. There's humans still there, but they're called echoes. And I love that, where they're all, the virus that has been unleashed upon the world has made most humans like
mute,
unable to speak and kind of dull and everything. And you get to follow the story of a new ape named Noah, played by Owen Teague, and his journey to pretty much save his clan, his clan of, what are they called? Like the bird clan, the hawk clan?
Eagle clan.
Eagle clan, that's right.
You were so close.
I know.
Name some more birds.
Hummingbird clan. The blue-footed booby clan.
Chicken clan?
Oh my gosh. They're well-fed, the chicken clan. But they're taken away by some other ape clan, and he's on a quest to return them, to save them. And when this movie was pitched to me, I was actually really interested in it because the way it was pitched to me was like, okay, imagine, the teaching of Caesar from the original movies. He left such a huge footprint on the ape community. years later, he's become this like deity, this religious figure almost, and how his teachings would be corrupted and obscured by different people who are just trying to get their own selfish means. So they invoke his name and his teachings to corrupt people.
Jesus.
Like the Jesus. Yeah. Like any religious figure in our times, there are people who will take that message and twist it and make it evil and use it for selfish reasons. And that was what really was like, oh man, that's a great idea. I'm really excited for that. Go into this movie. It's not really that. I mean, that's there, but it's not like the big point of the movie, I don't think. I mean, you've seen this movie, right?
I have.
Would you disagree with me on that?
I think that's a huge part of it. Sure. I don't know if it was I didn't know anything about it because I didn't watch trailers or anything. Not really. So I was just kind of enjoying it organically, but I think that's a huge part of it.
Yeah, like it's definitely part of it, but it's not like, I don't know. I didn't feel like it was the main talking point of the movie. Like you're not walking away from that movie like, boy, those apes sure misunderstood Caesar, you know?
I thought that, but also I think what you're speaking to is one of the biggest problems with this movie is that it does a lot. It tries to do a lot of things. It kind of meanders a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm curious though, overall, did you enjoy the movie?
Overall, yeah, I do enjoy it. I think I don't think I've given my review on Letterboxd yet, but I think I would give it like a 3.5 probably.
It's high for Steve.
It's probably if I had to rank all of the most recent movies, it would probably like be my second to least favorite. Like there'd be Rise, then Kingdom, then War, then Dawn.
Dawn is the best. We can all agree on that.
Dawn's the best one. And but I loved Noah's story overall. I love the earnestness of that character. I love how they like kind of grew the lore of the apes. Like, oh, this clan trains birds. Like that's such a neat idea, and it comes back in great ways. There's an ape that like has seen himself as king, and he wears a crown, and like that's all really cool, and I love that stuff. I really had a hard time with the human plot line, and I don't want to go too deep into it because there's like heavy spoilers involved with that. But like the human plot line was the thing that took me out of it most. And Wes Ball, who is the director of this movie, I think does overall a pretty good job with it. But you know, Wes Ball, from my understanding, he's most known for like the Maze Runner series, so young adult novel adaptations. And like, there's a little bit of this movie that I feel like if you made a young adult novel in the Planet of the Apes world, it would be this.
Sure.
Which isn't a knock on it per se, because I do think it's really well done, but it is kind of like, okay. And the other thing the last critique I have for this movie is just the overall look of it, because I think the special effects are great. Like the apes look amazing as always, but because
the world looks really good.
I do like the art direction of the world, but it's all CGI'd. So the whole movie, you're just watching an animated cartoon basically, which isn't a bad thing. Like I think they do a really good job of it. But when you watch Dawn of the Planet of the Apes,
think the 10 years older movies look better.
Yeah, when you watch those movies, because they filmed everything on location and the actors playing
you can't convince me Maurice is not real.
Right, exactly. Like they look real, and they're also in an actual legit real setting, so it sells the idea even more. Well, because it's like, okay, you have CGI rendered apes that look real, but they're in a CGI rendered world that looks real, but when you pair them together, they like somehow make each other worse. It's
I know what you mean.
To describe.
There's less reference points because they're not. Yeah. There's a lot of humans in the older movies, so that you get that Space Jam effect. You know,
you get the Space Jam, yeah. And then they start playing basketball. It's great. Maurice is like dunking right and left, and then is Rocket the one that everyone forgets the name of? The other one that's in all three
forgets
movies?
Rocket. That is a friend of mine. I'll tell you that.
Thank you. I love Rocket.
Bad Ape is my hero.
Bad Ape. Yeah, Bad Ape looks fucking real.
It's Steve Zahn. Did you know that?
Yeah. It's perfect. Bad Ape is so good. Like that. There's that bit in War where he holds the binoculars backwards. He's like, oh no, they're real small.
I just laughed thinking about it. One of my best tweets of all time is just a picture of Rocket, Maurice, and Bad Ape, and I said dream blunt rotation.
Honestly,
those guys, my heroes.
Rocket's, all of them great. But this movie, I did levy criticism against it, but I still think it's really, really good, and I could see where they could make a new trilogy out of this world with these core characters, and I'd go see it every day because I do like how they make Noah the central character of this movie. I do like how they make him just not Caesar 2.0. He's definitely like on his way to being maybe Caesar 2.0, but he's a little timid. He's not sure of himself. He kind of makes mistakes along the way. And I think the way his character ends isn't like necessarily like the best for like, well, that's probably the wrong idea, my guy. But, more power to you. I'm excited to see how this bites you in the ass later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But overall, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I do suggest you go see it. 3.5 stars out of 5. Pretty high ranking for me.
I agree. I think
my ranking system.
I think it's well worth a watch. And I went away from it thinking, wow, what a great start. Because Rise, I do think Rise is the weakest by far of the original 3 movies, but also I like Rise more than most people.
But it's a great start, to your point. Like, it is the weakest, but it is a very good start.
It's such a good way to start things.
Yeah.
And I think I feel the same way about Kingdom. Like, I'm really excited for what might happen in this new trilogy. I do think it's intended to be a new trilogy. But also, as a huge fan of The Witcher, that also acknowledges that season 2 and 3 suck. I was excited to see Freya Allan being given, no matter how you feel about her character and what ultimately the humans do in this new movie. I was excited. I thought she did great, and I was excited to see her being given some things to do. Which, by the way, have you seen the actual photo of Liam Hemsworth as Geralt in The Witcher?
I've avoided it.
Honestly,
does it look good?
Hot take? It's not bad. I mean, we all love it, Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
It's fine. He looks good. And I've heard that Freya Allan has said Ciri kind of goes wild in the final season in season 4 because it's been announced that 5 was greenlit and will be the last season. So we get 2 seasons of Liam Hemsworth as Geralt. And she's like, honestly, Ciri goes hard. So I'm excited. But yeah, I thought Freya Allan did great.
Yeah.
So that's my take on Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
There you go. Stay tuned for the Planet of the Apes.
Or something. But I hope somehow Matt Reeves comes back and just does the last 2 of the Kingdom trilogy.
Oh, that would be great.
It's not going to happen.
Matt Reeves just makes Batman and Planet of the Apes movies for the rest of his life.
I'm down for it.
Just take a year off Batman, make an Apes movie.
There's been such a long wait for the new Batman. We're not going to get that till like 2026 or some shit.
Jesus.
For the second Batman.
Jesus.
Fuck me, dude.
I know. That first one was great.
It's so good. But also, we want to talk about Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. It was one of, if not the most anticipated movie of the year for me personally. I watched Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, on its premiere night, and I loved it.
Yeah? You're such a big fan of this franchise.
As you will hear shortly, I am one of the biggest fans in the world of Fury Road. I adore that movie. It's life-changing. I have a giant thigh tattoo now of Fury Road.
What's it say?
What a lovely day.
What a lovely day. What a lovely day.
Nux, one of the all-time greatest characters. Nicholas Holt's performance is underrated in Fury Road. But
isn't it great that this episode we have a movie where someone shouts, what a lovely day. And then another movie where a character shouts, what a wonderful day.
Just people enjoying the day.
Just people manifesting great days.
What's that French thing people say? C'est la vie.
Omelette du fromage.
Yes, that's what I was thinking about, the cheese. No, there's seize the day. What's that? Carpe diem.
Carpe diem.
That's Latin.
Okay, yeah, that is Latin. That's not French.
That's how I threw you off. What's that French? What's that French thing people say?
French people aren't known for their optimism. Yeah, we will die all alone. Oui.
Enjoy the day.
Carpe diem.
You sounded like Frenchie.
Petit Louis.
Huey.
Petit Huey.
And Louis, whoever you are.
Louis.
I like you as well.
You're very petit.
You are also small. All right, we've lost all our listeners. Furiosa is great. I think it's one of the all-time great prequels, which isn't saying much. But I think most prequels is a whole bunch of, I think you have your solos, like why the fuck are we doing this? Nobody ever wanted to know this. Mm-hmm. And then you have your Rogue Ones, your movies that actually make the movie that follows them now better.
Yeah.
Right? Furiosa does that. Like it more than anything else makes Fury Road even better, which I didn't know was possible. Wow. Right? It leads right into it, and we get to know so much about the character of Furiosa. There's tons of people that were of course, brought back from Fury Road because it takes place 10 or 15 years right before the events there. So there's tons of opportunities to bring back characters like, of course, Immortan Joe. Sadly, the original actor passed away, who was actually in the first Mad Max as Toe Cutter. But the new actor does a fine job. 2 actresses get to play Furiosa, not just Anya Taylor-Joy, but Alila Brown plays an even younger Furiosa for a long part of the movie. And I will say that Chris Hemsworth as Dr. Dementis.
I'm sorry. I love the Mad Max names.
It's like a Sonic the Hedgehog kind of.
Yeah. Dr. Dementis.
This is his best performance by a mile.
Really?
Ever.
Wow.
He's so good. He's so diabolical and layered as this villain. He played a villain in
the hotel one.
El Royale.
El Royale.
Yes.
Good times at the El Royale.
Yes. Thank you. I did not done a good job of proving that I actually love that movie. It is underrated. He's great in that movie as well, but he's so phenomenal in Furiosa. Tom Burke as Praetorian Jack, which you'll find. I don't want to say too much about his character because it was something that I didn't know about Furiosa at all. But yeah, and we get to see some more of the Vuvellini, the many mothers and the green place. It's great, but it's so different than Furiosa. Than Fury Road, in the sense that Fury Road starts in the second act. It's a hot rod without brakes that never stops. And this movie is not at all. It's an epic that has 3 long acts. I think 5 chapters actually. And it takes its time. It really sits and tells a story. It's much more of a normal movie in that regard. And I think if you're just a huge fan of Fury Road and you want more of that high octane fucking crack cocaine, you're not going to get that watching Furiosa. You're going to get a movie that has a lot of still moments and takes a lot of time with its characters. And I think that kind of shocks huge fans of Fury Road, but also people that didn't like Fury Road, they found its story lacking, which I completely disagree with, but I can understand, will actually, I think, like Furiosa a lot more. It's much more of a movie. In fact, it's very similar to Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I think, in pacing, because you kind of do feel the runtime at times, the way that I did with Kingdom as well. But I think to its betterment, this is really trying to do a completely different thing. And the last thing that I'll say, one thing that I think is extremely impressive, none of the Mad Max movies are similar.
Yeah, none of them. Yeah, they're all very different. Yeah.
Yeah, Mad Max, the first one, really doesn't get going at all until like deep into the second act.
The first one's not even like the true apocalypse, really.
It's not at all.
Yeah.
Road Warrior, Mad Max 2, is what people think of when they think of Mad Max. And then Beyond the Thunderdome, because I rewatched all of them recently, it's George Miller's Return of the Jedi. It's like a kid's movie out of nowhere. It's goofy. You got like all these little fuckers hitting people with frying pans and stuff. They're basically Ewoks.
We don't need another hero.
Yeah. Yep. The Thunderdome has some iconic moments, but it's by far my least favorite of the Mad Max franchise. Fury Road is still my favorite. A lot of people have been saying Furiosa is the best. God love him.
Wow.
I don't think that's possible. It's the most perfect movie ever made. Fury Road is, to me. But Furiosa is great. I was nervous about Anya Taylor-Joy's physicality because Charlize Theron is somebody who I know could kick my ass. And like watching Fury Road, I'm never doubting that.
Oh yeah, she looks like she can just beat your ass.
But I was a little worried. I was like, I'm pretty sure I could take Anya Taylor-Joy,
She's pretty light.
Like if it came down into a bar fight, just I don't want to. Love Anya Taylor-Joy. But if it was like if we were in the Thunderdome and somebody threw a knife in and it was like only one's walking out.
You're letting her stab you.
I am.
You will fall on your knees, put your hands up in the air, and you'd say, "We both know what has to happen on you."
Yeah. I'm letting her do whatever. On. Yeah.
Make Furiosa 2.
You're better than me. The world needs you more. But yeah, I think she does hold her own, even though she's such like a slight figure that sometimes it seems a little silly, maybe. But ultimately, I think George Miller has done it again. And I'm glad I'm talking about it here. I have very little power, but I want more people to see this movie. It's doing terribly.
Yeah.
This is the lowest grossing Memorial Day weekend of all time in 41 years or something.
Does that count COVID years? That's hard to believe. Like 2020, 2021. I don't know. I feel like those had to have been worse.
Even if they didn't count them, it's still, that makes sense to not count them because there were like a lot of them weren't open,
That's
not fair.
Yeah. Put an asterisk next to that claim.
Sure. Maybe.
An asterisk.
We'll Google it.
Give Furiosa an asterisk.
Ultimately, no matter what, it's not doing that well. And no.
Well, to be fair, I went to the movie theater yesterday to see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It's a Saturday. We were there from like 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, basically. Theater was dead. Just no one seeing any movie this weekend.
That's what we mean, though. Like, that's not good.
Yeah.
It used to be, it's just like a movie time. It's Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
It's party time.
When you saw, sorry, I know this is a little off topic, but when you saw Furiosa, Mad Max Saga.
Super on topic, but go on.
Did you have a fun theater experience? Were people in the theater like?
I did not.
No.
And in fact, I want to see it again. There was a lady behind me and to my left that was clearly not a Mad Max fan. And so these movies are silly at times. Yes. They're goofy. Miller's a madman. There's a lot of Australian shit that goes down. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was loudly scoffing at a lot of like emotional moments, or like, you know, the character of Dementis, just by their name, you can tell that he's got a fucking teddy bear chained to his chest. Lady and gentlemen, you know, he's just a goofball. And anytime like an emotional thing would happen, or like a really off the wall set piece would pop off, she would just audibly go, and it's like, I'm going to say this respectfully, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not enjoying something, you're making an effort to vocalize that. That's not like an emotional or autonomic reaction that your body's doing. You're doing that so everyone around you can know that you're above this, and you're a piece of shit for that.
Right.
Like I hate the movie Five Nights at Freddy's. Hate it.
Right.
Whatever. I'm not a fan or whatever. Like, it's for the fans. It's for the kids.
You don't know the lore.
I'm not going to go to the theater. Exactly. I mean, it's very possible that I just don't know the lore. I'm not going to go to the theater and just sit in the middle and every 10 minutes go, okay. You know what I mean? Okay. Yeah. I'm going to quietly be miserable.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just how I feel about that.
Or leave.
Or I'm even more respectful. I won't go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that, I think it ruined it for me a little bit, you know, because right as I'm about to like get teary eyed or like feel something on another level, I'm getting taken out, you know? But also I do have to acknowledge, I don't think it's better. I mean, Fury Road, again, as you'll hear in a few minutes, I burst into tears just because of the sheer fucking filmmaking of it, Steve.
That's beautiful.
I really do. Like, I rewatched it. I saw the black and chrome edition for the first time.
Nice.
I found out I owned it and didn't know. I have this box set, the high octane edition.
Yeah.
And I'm going through rewatching all the Mad Maxes. I get to Fury Road and it's like, do you want to watch it in 4K or you want to pop in this black and chrome? And I'm like, no shit, I own this. So I get to watch that. And there's a little introduction from George Miller. It's his preferred way to watch Fury Road. He likes the black and white version more.
Wow. How did you like it?
I loved it. I mean, I definitely prefer the 4K, but it's fucking gorgeous. It doesn't always work. And even Miller acknowledges there's certain action scenes where some things are lost due to the black and white, but there's certain scenes where it's like, holy fucking shit. Like a Morton Joe in black and white is just like this diabolical, mythological figure. And that's what I'll say about Furiosa, excuse me. I think, again, a lot of prequels are mostly unnecessary, but some make the other one better. But also, it's an origin story for Furiosa. And I think in a post-MCU world, that sounds like an insult, because a lot of times you're like, oh, we don't need the origin story. We fucking know how Batman is Batman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't need it.
If I have to see Batman's parents get shot in an alley one more goddamn time.
I think it's kind of a pejorative, but when I say Furiosa is an origin story, it's like it is the Old Testament to Fury Road. I mean, and that is truly what Miller's trying to do. There's like this campfire mythology to the character of Furiosa, the way that it's told. There's even like a narrator periodically who's like a history man, and you'll see that. But he's really trying to make this a myth, there's a biblical proportion to this story that Furiosa adds. that I think is so well done and so well worth seeing. I recommend it to everybody to see it on the biggest screen that they possibly can. You will not get the same experience at home. You just won't. I'm sorry to be that guy. You watch this shit on fucking Netflix, you're toast. You know, it's not going to blow your mind.
Yeah.
It's not going to tickle the ivories the way that it would.
I agree.
Yeah. So that's Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes and Furiosa. A couple of things that we've been watching. We've mostly been watching The Boys and Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, as you'll hear over the next month or two. But we do watch other things.
Yeah. So this concept of crossing streams will probably be a little bit more expanded upon and larger in Patreon.
Yeah. But the Patreon full version will be like 6 TV shows we've been checking out, that kind of stuff, you know?
But we want to get that Mad Max SEO, that Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes SEO.
And I'm really excited for most people to hear my impassioned plea about Fury Road. You know,
go see it.
So that's kind of a Furiosa, but also Fury Road. Like,
go see Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, or you will make Kit Laser sad.
That's true.
You don't want to make him sad. Look at him. He's beautiful.
There's a third movie called The Wasteland that we might not get because you fuckers want to stay home and watch Atlas with J-Lo.
Don't waste The Wasteland.
Which is something Rictus and Scrotus would do. Just throwing that out there.
Rictus and Scrotus would definitely do that.
So check out our episode that we put out.
I love Mad Max character name.
A year ago on Fury Road. That's going to drop in a few minutes. We love you. Thanks for tuning in. That's all the time we got for right now. Now check out Fury Road, baby.
Woo!
This episode of Streaming Things is sponsored by BetterHelp.
BetterHelp.
You know, Steve, there's something I need to get off my chest.
What's that, fella?
It's been weighing on me. You know that I resigned at the day job recently, right? And I've been a little scared. There's a family to worry about. There's health insurance. There's capitalism.
Sounds like a stressful time.
But we all carry around different stressors, big and small. And it feels better when you bring something to the light. We keep them bottled up. It can start to affect us negatively. And therapy is a safe space to get things off your chest and to figure out how to work through whatever's weighing you down. In my case, it's all of the stress, the misery, the fear. But I had to come over here and share that with you, and I felt better. You know, that's a real thing that happened.
Yeah.
Unloading all that on you and Erica and feeling better myself.
That sounds like my Friday night.
Sometimes you just need somebody to listen. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. If you're not vibing, that's completely fine. So get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/streamingthings to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/streamingthings.
It's the month of May, a very special month that is very near and dear close to my heart. And it's that time of the month where we get to send a huge virtual hug and a round of applause to some truly stellar individuals. Our super patrons at the Try Before You Deny tier and above. You all make this show possible, and it's time you get a special shout out. So thank you very much to Stanton Valentino, Maddlestat, Susie Callahan, Anthony Corona, Sunshine, Huckleberry Cauliflower, Ashley Hazen, Mike from New Hampshire, Brett X, Emily Scarano, Lil Tickler, Svento7, Jay Scramo, Bluff Pum, AK Ashley Ray, Adam Busby, Wendy O'Laughlin, Jason Hawkins, Conrad, Kaylee Sampson, Rabbit Dog in a Barbie Car, Charlie Friday, Alexis Adler, Peaches, Emmy, Haley B, Joe Velez, John Collins, Amanda King, Trisha Bueller, Sun Loving Mortal, Suzanne Rode, Jen Robinson, Kalisha Reeves, Aaron Armstrong, Kevin Strother, Ashley Powers, Stephen V, Casey McCain, and Enza. A massive thank you to each of you and to all of our patrons at every level. Even if you're not at the shout out tier, your support means the world to us. We couldn't do it without you, and we hope you feel as much a part of the Streaming Things community as we do every day. And with that, how about we get back to the show?
Welcome back. My name is Chris.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Streaming Things, our Patreon edition. Y'all voted, and Mad Max Fury Road was the victor.
Witness us.
Witness.
You have come. You have arrived to the gates of Valhalla, all shiny and new, ready to listen.
This is our shiny and chrome edition.
Oh, yes. So shiny and chrome.
Shiny and chrome.
So shiny and chrome.
Oh, what a lovely podcast. You're going to hear Steve's exquisite Australian at some point during this episode, I'm sure, and my horrible rendition.
Australian's one of those accents that's
hard.
It is. Like I devolve, not devolve. That's insulting to the English. I devolve into an English accent quite frequently. But which isn't good either.
I devolve into like a Cockney accent if it like was like if a Cockney person was eating peanut butter at the same time. That's what I devolve into.
I have my Siri on my phone is programmed to speak in an Australian accent. So when I ask her to do something, she's like, no.
500 miles to Bondi Beach.
Peace off, ghost.
Have you been to Bondi?
See, that's pretty good, Steve.
Nose cone.
So anyway, that's what we're going to be doing. But we're covering Mad Max Fury Road. You guys voted on it. So thank you so much for that, because this is one of my favorite movies of all time. Spoiler alert for my overall thoughts.
I mean, you watched this in a special private screening at an Alamo Draft House, right? For your bachelor party?
I did. So that's how much I love this movie, is that my bachelor party for when I was going to get married to Carissa, no like crazy parties or strip clubs or anything like that or whatever's traditional. I didn't do any of that. We went to Arizona. We did some hiking in Sedona. But the main event for my bachelor party was renting out an Alamo Draft House and a screening of Mad Max Fury Road, which was in the height of the pandemic. So that was part of the reason we had to rent out the theaters. I wasn't trying to ball out there, but it was a great time. It's my only time I've ever been to an Alamo Draft House theater. Have you ever been, Steve?
No, I've always wanted to.
They're lovely.
Oh, I know. I love their ads they used to do where it was just they would play angry voicemails from people who were just rude in theaters and they asked to leave.
Yeah.
They would call them like, you think you're so smart telling me to leave because I was answering my phone in the middle of Smurfs 2.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's every theater has like a please don't be rude. Turn off your phones. But Alamo Draft House is one of those things. It's like, get the fuck out.
They'll kick your ass.
We'll beat the shit out of you if you look at your phone.
On your phone, they will kick your ass.
And I love that. I love that about them. But we got a bunch of good merch. They used to be affiliated with a movie blog site called Birth Movies Death that is now defunct. So one of my favorite hoodies says Birth Movies Death. And I got a rainbow Alamo Draft House shirt. It was a wonderful experience. That was probably the 5th or 6th time that I watched Mad Max Fury Road, and I adored it. And then when I first bought my house, I mounted my television. I was alone in the house. My wife was at work, I think. I set up the internet and everything. The first thing that I did was I ordered Indian food. So I had spicy level 6 lamb curry, garlic naan, a mango lassi. And I set up my Sonos surround sound and my 4K LG 65-inch flat screen television, and I watched Mad Max Fury Road, all of which I bought on a Best Buy credit card because fuck them. Just want to make that clear.
Who are we fucking?
The Man.
Yeah.
Which is what this movie's about.
We bought all this equipment. Fuck you, The Man.
This movie did not win Best Picture in 2016. It came out in 2015, which was sad. I forget what did. I don't know if that was the year Birdman won or something like that. I know Shape of Water won in 2017. So I'm not sure, but it won some technical awards. But I truly believe this is probably...
Spotlight won that year.
Spotlight's a good movie.
That is a great movie.
However, I think Fury Road is potentially the best movie of the 21st century. And that's a tall order. I have a lot of favorites in this century. I do think it is magnificent. And I hear a lot of detractors nowadays. Anytime something gets lifted up on a pedestal, what do people want to do, Steve?
Tear it down.
Tear it down.
Tear it down.
That's okay. That's human nature.
Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Tear down this pop culture wall.
Mad Max Fury Road. 6 out of 10.
Yeah, Mead.
It was okay.
Mead Max.
They should call it Mead Max.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's what the kids say. And the usual criticism lobbied at this film.
There is not one furry in this road.
That's one. Furry Road.
I did not see a single furry on this road. They lied in the ad campaign.
I'm suing it just like I did Anna de Armas movie.
Niet.
You hear about that, right? Yesterday.
No, what happened?
The movie Yesterday.
Yeah.
It's they won. I'm pretty sure they won the lawsuit. 2 nerds, and I say that term lovingly, sued the studio because the trailer had Anna de Armas in it and the actual movie did not. They had cut her part. And they were like, we went to see Anna de Armas. She wasn't in it. You lied to us. And so they sued. And I'm pretty sure they won. And it starts a horrible precedent with marketing and trailers and such. But anywho, I digress. At the time, this movie was boycotted by neckbeards because it's called Mad Max Fury Road. But if you've seen the film, and I assume you have if you're listening to this, a lot of the film basically Furiosa's the protagonist, right? And there's not a lot of dialogue.
I think Mad Max only has like 64 lines in the whole movie.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of dialogue in general, but certainly not from Max's part. So a lot of chodes were angry.
Chodes, yep.
I think first, let's hear you talk before I go on a tiny tirade before we do the play-by-play. What are your thoughts on this film, Steve? I've been hogging the mic.
Well, I think it's deserved because this is one of your favorite movies of all time. I think this is a stellar movie in terms of like all the technical awards that it was given. It is deserved, like from just a production standpoint, how this movie is made, what they had to do to make it, the way it looks. It's fucking beautiful. The editing is some of the greatest editing of all time.
I was going to ask you about, as an editor, do you get chubbed up watching this movie?
I do get chubbed up watching this movie. This movie is just amazingly edited. It's fantastically directed. I just, technically there's nothing bad I can throw at this movie. It's like you said, it's almost like a perfectly made movie. The only detraction I could ever throw towards this movie is that some of the acting's not great and it's a very simple plot, but I think the simple plot kind of works towards it.
Sure.
In its favor. Cause it's just like, I don't want to, you see the movie for this movie in particular. It's like, you want to see a 2-hour long car chase action scene.
Yes.
That's what this movie is.
Yes, I do.
There's very little downtime, and the downtime that it does have is pretty interesting to look at.
Yeah. I mean,
visually,
this movie basically starts in the second act. There's no precursor.
Right.
Like it opens with Max chomping on a lizard and then boom, we're off to the races. There's no setup. And this is a sequel. Beyond Thunderdome came out in, I think, 1985. So this is a 30 years later sequel. You really don't need, there's only one part of this film, and I'll talk about it when we get there, where you kind of need the context of having seen at least Road Warrior. But ultimately it doesn't matter because there's not much, complicated plot to where like, oh, who's that girl or what? Like, doesn't matter. Like his wife and daughter were killed and he's crazy. He's known as crazy, but you can get that from the title, Mad Max. And that's it. Right.
Right.
I watch a video called, it's Movies with Mikey's, the YouTube channel. And Mikey Newman's the guy. His breakdown of a lot of things are great, but I love his breakdown of Mad Max Fury Road. And he talks about how miraculous this movie is that it exists, being a sequel 30 years later, but also it's set like it's in the 80s. Like the title card looks like it's straight out of like a Poison album cover.
Oh yeah. A lot of, even like the flashbacks that Max is having is very 80s-esque.
Yeah.
But with like a modern sheen on them.
And I think your slight issue with some of the acting is more of that homage as well. But also because the first Mad Max is a low budget wonder from Australia.
Oh yeah.
Mel Gibson was a nobody at the time.
I think that's the only is Road Warrior the one with humongous or humongoloid, or was like Does Walk Away, that guy?
I think so. It's been a long time since I've seen the originals, to be fair.
That's the only Mad Max I've seen. Like I've never seen Thunderdome.
Tina Turner?
Nope, have not seen Thunderdome.
Dang. Well, hopefully we'll do a marathon soon. Some of the folks have been asking for it.
Yeah.
But even some of the car models in this movie, like, because they're all repurposed, put together weird, like, war rigs and stuff. The actual models of the cars are from the 60s and 70s and stuff, if you look closely, which is what they would have been in the 80s when he made the first set of these movies. So he stuck to the art direction of his original vision, which is amazing. But the actual substance, a lot of the criticism that's lobbied against this film is that it doesn't make there's nothing to it. There's hardly any dialogue. There's no plot. They drive, then they drive back and it's over.
They go back
what
to where
the
they
fuck?
started.
No, that is the entire message. Like I was crying my eyes out watching this movie today. Like the entire movie is about being a good ally, which is why our titular character takes a step back and he decides for once in his life to sit in the back seat or the passenger seat for most of the movie and actually just assist our characters, which are all women trying to escape a patriarchal system. Right. And this movie came out right before Trump was elected and all that shit was going on politically in America.
Yeah.
And so you have this like ugly curmudgeon asshole hoarding resources, creating a false religion and pushing everybody into their gendered stereotypes with propaganda, hence the breeders in this film. And then people in this movie are trying to break out of that. So he sends the war boys after them. Right. So it's so fucking on the nose and still everybody that hates this movie missed it. Right.
Yeah.
And the whole reason they come back is because the ultimate message of this film is that Max's arc is that he has to stop running. He's looking for a home. So he tries to find one. He has to try to rebuild and help others. And the solution isn't some grass is greener other place. It's that we have to take what we have right here and make it better. Ugh. I'm getting chills.
Yeah, he's got that line like if you try to if something breaks on you, you run away from it, it'll make you crazy or something like that. Is one of his lines.
Yeah, because he did go crazy, right? That's the whole point of his character. And I love that the final message of the film, it's some quote like, where do we go when we journey in search of our better selves? And so the quote's at the end of the movie instead of the beginning.
Where do we go, we who wander this wasteland in search of our better selves?
Exactly. But that quote is rendered in black and white, which is George Miller's way of saying you're on one side or the other of this fucking argument, right? Like this is black and white. Like you're assisting the patriarchy, you're assisting the oppressors, or you're an ally. You can't sit in the middle anymore. Like this is time. We're heading toward the fucking apocalypse. You know, I get really passionate about this movie because it is so simplistic, but it's powerful. Right. And I think that it is the epitome of a good movie because there's not much dialogue like this. It's visual storytelling at its finest. The original script, there wasn't one.
They just used storyboards.
It was just a storyboard that he handed in. Like, here's my idea. And they're like,
my script.
What the fuck is this? And he's like, images, motherfucker. That's what we do here.
You want a Happy Feet 2? Then look at this.
Well, Happy Feet 3, there is
or 2. Happy Feet 3, sorry.
And that's the thing. His pedigree is the Mad Max movies, the 2 Happy Feet films.
And Babe 2, Pig in the City.
Pig in the City, the sequel.
The sequel to Babe.
But this is George Miller's MO. He takes something really simplistic that actually has a powerful message, right? Like Happy Feet's all about like battling prejudice and supporting atheism. And then Babe 2, Pig in the City 2 is like the disappearing middle class is the theme, you know? And like he doesn't fuck around when it comes to these simple movies. So I get excited. I love George Miller. I'm so excited for Furiosa. We do get a prequel soon. Starring Anya Taylor-Joy.
Because wasn't there like a lot of lawsuits that were kind of tying up this franchise moving forward? Like there was some sort of like his production agency was trying to get the money they were owed from Warner Brothers because Warner Brothers is being stingy.
Yes, there's a lot of that.
But that's finally gotten tied up. So that's why the prequel Furiosa film is being forwarded. And then also the sequel to this one has been greenlit, but it's still in pre-production.
I'm glad we get a sequel because I really want to see what happens after this point too. And I want Charlize Theron. I think that's how you say it in the South African way. Tron, I think. I've said it wrong enough on the internet enough times where a lot of South African people have reached out to me. Like it's kind of like Tron, but with a rolled R. But she's kind of adopted Theron as a way to fit in America, similar to how Giancarlo Esposito started saying Esposito because everyone else was, but the Italian pronunciation is Esposito. Interesting stuff. So yeah, I would like to see her in it, but it's really funny. George Miller originally intended to de-age with CGI, Charlize Theron. I'll just call her Theron. That's because I sound pretentious, more pretentious than usual. But the movie's been in pre-production so long that he saw The Irishman, the Martin Scorsese film, and he was like, I don't think de-aging works if you do it for the whole movie, because it doesn't in that movie. It's awkward as shit. So he decided to recast.
It's Anya Taylor-Joy, right?
It is. Yep.
And that's not how you say her name, right?
It is Anya.
Anya Taylor-Joy. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Almost everyone says Anya.
Yeah, but I want to say it right. It's her goddamn name.
Yeah. Well, everybody in my comments,
I don't go to you and go, hey, Tris.
Yeah, right. That's how I learned. It does matter. Did I tell you that story about Ariana in college? I think I have. The girl sat in front of me in German class and her name was Ariana. And I always called her Ariana because I thought it sounded better, just my personal taste. And she said, she said, it's Ariana. And I was an asshole when I was younger. And I said, does it matter? And she said, yes, Crease, it does. And my mind was blown. I was like, dude, it fucking matters a lot. That sounds terrible. You know, that is way not it.
Good for her for coming back with such a witty retort.
Oh, I was such a douche when I was 19. I had a ponytail and like a tank top on in that class.
What?
Oh yeah. I had super long hair.
You had a ponytail?
And then I was rocking the ponytail in that particular class.
Was it like a Padawan ponytail or what kind of ponytail? Was it braided?
It was like...
What are we talking about? Is it a rat tail ponytail?
I want to say, what's the guy from... I don't know what kind of ponytail. It wasn't a rat tail. It was a full on.
Okay. All right.
It was a full on.
Okay.
What's that show that came out in 2020 that I'm broke as shit. I'm gay as hell. And Carol Baskin. What's that? Come on.
Oh, Tiger King?
Yeah, I kind of look. I was kind of rocking that look a little bit.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Goddamn Carol Baskins. I will never financially recover from this.
I will never financially recover from this. So yeah, let's get into the play-by-play in a second, but that's me gushing about the meaning of this film and how much it means to me personally. Steve loves it as well. It's a technical marvel. I do want to say before we get into some other stuff real quick that as an editor, I'm sure you'll appreciate this, but so the entire movie was purposefully shot in what's called center frame. So you know about this more than I do. Good. So my understanding is that you center the subject in every frame, which is weird, so that you can do quick edits without the audience getting confused and pissed off.
Yeah, because a lot of action movies in the modern day, I think a lot of people can relate to this, where you'll see an action movie and there's like a lot of quick frenetic cuts, but you get really lost in what's happening very easily because your eyes are constantly darting across the screen at different things you're focusing at. So you might be looking at the bottom left, and then now the next cut, the action's on the top right.
Yeah.
And that becomes confusing because your brain can't quite connect those dots as fast as the cuts are happening. But if you do the center framing where all the action is in the center, no matter what the cut is going to, your brain can process exactly what's happening in the moment as it's happening. And that's the genius of this movie, because there's a ridiculous amount of cuts in this movie, especially in the action, but it's always easy to follow and you never lose track of what's happening.
I mean, it's a fucking miracle with the chaos that goes on in this movie that you understand frame to frame what's going on.
And you have to give props to the editor, which is Margaret, can't pronounce her last name, Margaret Sixel, but she's actually George Miller's wife. And
it's like a George Lucas situation.
Yeah, but they're still married and happily married. and not George Lucas, who's a cantankerous asshole about that. But no, like she literally,
I just don't like her.
She was constantly fighting with the studio because the studio is like, this needs to be under 100 minutes. And she's like, I'll just make the movie me and my husband want to make. Okay, thanks. And she ended up winning the Oscar for best film editing that year. And it's 100% deserved. So. And it's amazing because actually George Miller went out of his way to say, like, I want a woman to edit this movie because if a dude edits this, it's going to look stupid and the message isn't going to get across. And so that's why he specifically tasked his wife to do it.
And with the movie's themes, that's really appropriate, right? But film editors historically were always women because it was a very like laborious job. Like back in the day with actual film, you had to, I read this in a Patton Oswalt's book, I think.
Patton Oswalt has a great bit about it, how directors are like shooting their load. And,
yeah, that's right.
And but
it's a stand-up comedy. That's where I heard it.
But yeah, like and a woman has to actually like nurture and make sure the movie becomes what it's supposed to be. Where the director's like, oh, I filmed so good.
Yeah,
didn't I film so good?
I shot everything.
And then the editor, who was typically a woman at the time, is like, you sure did, baby. Yep. Yeah. You did a great job. Go take a nap.
I mean, the real actual movie is always manufactured in the edit. So I really appreciate that. I don't know who was the composer because that is fucking fantastic. Tom Holkenborg. I adore this score. And even the emotional beats have like a different theme, music theme to them. The sound editing is crazy good. I think that's part of the reason I love this movie so much is because of my surround sound system. And that sounds like a douchey thing to say, but it is, you can really tell if you see it in a theater or if you have a home theater setup like that, how miraculous this sound editing is.
I want to briefly touch upon the sound editing. So the sound editing also won an Oscar that year for Mark McGeaney and David White. And I forget which one of them, I was listening to an interview with one of these guys in preparation for this episode. And I really loved his thought process as to how he tackled the sound design specifically for the war rig. Because he was saying like when he was looking at the storyboards and at the story, he saw the war wig as Immortan Jones' white whale. And so there's a lot of like when spears hit the tank, they put noises of whales being struck.
Oh,
and
wow.
then at the end, when the rig is rolling, you hear it's mixed with whales going, like that's not like,
yeah.
So he's specifically putting like whale noises to make the rig become like its own living, breathing thing. And I'm like, I fucking love it when sound editors really get into the character of inanimate objects.
No, yeah. Like I mean, that's in my notes because there's the scene where the motorcycle canyon fuckers are
the buzzards.
No, not buzzards. Are they more buzzards? The ones that they're selling the gas to?
I think they're called called the Buzzards? One of the groups is called the Buzzards.
The Buzzards is the porcupine cars at the beginning, the first people that attack them, that the war boys actually help her fight off when they still think she's on her team. She's on their team. But the canyon people with the motorcycles that she had made the pact to, when they're attacking, they're leaping over on their motorcycles and they're setting the front of the rig on fire.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where she has it like a defense built in, where she points this like shovel thing on the front down into the sand and it shoots up and puts the fire out.
Yeah.
And then there's a close shot of the, I don't know, I'm not a car guy, but the exhaust, and it's not what it's called, but it's the thing sticking out of the engine.
The engine block?
It's kind of, I guess
at the top?
Yeah, the engine block thing, the apertures that open, but it like
I'm
breathes.
not a car guy either.
It zooms in and goes, and like the edit and the sound I wrote down, like they make this rig, this car, because of the universe that we're in, like this living, breathing thing. And it's fantastic.
Well, I brought up the Buzzards because they underlie noises of a bee swarm under their cars. So you can hear a bee swarm sound like, like underneath their cars. It's like, I love that shit.
I mean, the sound's incredible in this. And I took many, many notes. Everything was in all caps when I got amazed at some of the technical stuff. But anyway, we'll dive right into the play-by-play. We got to go kind of fast because we waxed too long and poetically on how much we love the movie. And we do have to, you're hearing this afterward, but we're on a time crunch for Last of Us episode 3, which we're so fucking ecstatic about. We just want to touch briefly on that. So far in 2023, this year has been wild for us, both personally and behind the scenes at the shop of the podcast. We've got some stuff going on that we will announce soon, but have no fears. Streaming Things will continue, just like at the end of an MCU movie, right? Streaming Things will return. And in fact, we're not going anywhere. But Steve's got 3 to 4 multiple across the country or out of the country work trips for his main job. Andy's had a lot of stuff going on. I'm great, honestly. I'm kind of like losing my fucking mind. Like it hit me today. I get a lot of comments on my TikTok, like, how do you watch all this stuff? And how do you do all this? And I'm like, oh, it's just, I'm a nerd. I work extremely fucking hard. Like I've watched 40 movies in January and I've watched like 3 seasons of television already. And 90% of that was just so I could talk about it. Like I didn't actually like want to. I had a great time, but it's like work to me, right?
You'd rather be doing something else.
And then I have a full-time job aside of this. And then there's the podcast, right? Like, and it's very important to me that I do it all because like the job is my health insurance. And I have a 6-month-old daughter and a 9-year-old son and a wife, right? So it's very important to me because the podcast and the TikTok is my actual dream for my life, right? Like career-wise, where I want to go. If not making movies, then talking about them. Right. Obviously, I have to take care of my kids, but then I have to do the other job because that's my kids' health insurance and like the actual money that supports us and stuff. So it's a lot. I love doing all of it, but it is a lot, you know? And then, you know, you got all that shit going on. So we wanted to touch on it. Like if you've noticed some like the wheels on the bus shaking a little bit and like some of the windows are cracking and it's raining, that is true. But we're driving. Don't worry. There's a grove ahead. We're headed there. We're driving that way.
Yeah, we can't quite.
Did my metaphor work out because of the Mad Max thing? Okay.
Yeah, it worked perfectly. Like it was shiny and new. It was great.
In chrome.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff just around the horizon, but you know, we do have to get over some hiccups that are in the near future. But hopefully next month things will be clear and we can get back on the rails, as it were.
Well, we can confirm now, I think. I think that Yellow Jackets, we're doing that, right? Is it safe to do that?
Yeah, I think it's safe to do that. We can confirm that we will be our next, our Wednesday shows, our secondary show that will run alongside with our Last of Us coverage, as we will be covering season 1 of Yellow Jackets. And then when season 2 drops in a couple months, we will parlay into that. And the cool thing is we will have a third guest with that as well.
Yes.
Should we keep that a secret? Or I
think we probably should, or we're hinting too much at the other stuff that we're not going to announce yet. But
okay.
I think.
Okay. But stay tuned because we got a really fun trio.
Yeah, no, it's going to be awesome. And I had hundreds of you email, instant message me on Instagram, which you can all do, by the way. I answer most of those. I try very hard. And say, hey, please cover Yellow Jackets. You know, I know you were talking about it. Please do that. Yellow Jackets, I think, is perfect for what we do. Steve hasn't seen it, but like half of the show takes place in the 90s with kind of like famous actors that don't work as much anymore. It's the same kind of thing that Stranger Things was, like with Winona Ryder, right? And Samwise Gamgee, what the fuck?
Sean Astin?
Yeah. And the diner guy. It's been a while since Stranger Things. Because you have like Juliette Lewis and Christina Ricci, and it's that kind of same Easter eggy vibe for like pop culture wonder that we can do with Yellow Jackets. And it's an incredible show, just, in general. So super excited for that. That is guaranteed to be coming. I think next week we're going to start that all the way leading up until as soon as Last of Us ends, we'll be starting Yellow Jackets season 2. So plans that style of plans are great. It's just some of the extra Patreon content that I think we dropped the ball on, but we're going to make it up to you.
Yeah, we're going to make up a lot of stuff in February.
We're going to create a new tier above Steve's feet. It's called the Lord of Kisses. You can just guess what that tier is.
Oh, yes. Close your eyes and think of the most amazing thing you can get. And guess what? It's better.
Well, let's dive right in. We got to tear through this like a war boy. So the film opens with a voiceover, and this time Max gets his own voiceover because if you remember in Road Warrior, it was Feral Boy was the actual person doing the voiceover, I think.
I'm going to stop you right there. I don't remember anything about Road Warrior.
It's okay.
I've seen it, but the only thing I remember is just walk away.
Yeah, just walk away.
Just walk away.
But you're not even sure which one that was.
I'm not even sure if that was Road Warrior.
But it's been a long time for me too, but I remember a couple things. But yeah, it says, "My name is Max. My world is fire and blood." A little bit of an allusion to our House of the Dragon coverage.
It's oil, stupid. I love like some of the sound clips from the past.
Yeah.
There's that just one guy's like, "It's oil, stupid." Like,
yeah. By the way, I think this is funny. You know how they call gasoline guzzling?
Yeah.
Do you know the story behind that?
No.
So one of the actors, I think the guy who now plays Immortan Joe, he was one of the main characters in the original Road Warrior as a different person.
He was the villain in that movie.
Yes. So I think it's the way
Keys burn.
His Australian accent was so thick when he said gasoline that it just sounded like that gasoline, So they started calling it canonically guzzling because his Australian accent was so thick. Fun. It wasn't like a thing that George Miller originally thought of. But he tells his backstory, in case you hadn't seen Road Warrior. It had been 30 years anyway, even if you had. But once I was a cop, a road warrior, plug there, searching for righteous cause. And then, each of us in our own way was broken. Basically, there was an apocalypse. Now I drive around and run around and eat lizards and shit, catch up. And that's, like I said, that's the voiceover for 13 seconds is act 1 of this movie. That's why it's so batshit.
Yep.
And then he's being chased by war boys. He gets captured rather quickly. And the voiceover is still going on. Like, I'm a man reduced to a single instinct, survive. And that sums up Max's character. He's feral. He just eat, sleep, shit, survive. That's the way his brain works. He's all hindbrain now. It cuts to him being tattooed and shaven because he had a big mop of hair, and they're tattooing that he's a universal blood donor.
No lumps, 2 good eyes, piss okay, genitals intact, multiple scars, heals fast, high octane, universal donor.
Yeah, high octane meaning he'll bite you, which is why they put the mask on him for the most of the movie. And universal donor is important because I love that the world building in this movie is intense. But like all of the war boys are like nuclear fallout, cancer ridden, they call them their half-life is what they call them, but they die very young and they've all got tumors and shit. And, they use these donors to juice them up, give them blood transfusions basically. Yeah. And he's type O negative. That's the universal one, right?
I think so, yeah.
We got a lot of doctors and nurses that listen.
It's an O something.
I don't want to piss them off.
O something.
I'm 99,000% O negative.
I should know that since I work with a blood center relatively.
Actually, now I'm B positive that's correct.
You're B positive? Okay, good.
Yep.
Everybody be positive.
He breaks free. It's intercut throughout this entire movie, but a lot in this sequence, visions of Feral Boy and his wife and son, their original deaths, stuff like that. Not the original footage, but what happened.
This whole chase scene, you kind of pick up on the fact that George Miller he's playing with frame rates. I don't know if he's speeding the footage up in post.
It's only in this one, I think, that's so glaringly obvious that he does that high frame rate thing with the war boys.
He does it in several of the car chases too later on, but this one, yeah.
But you can see because they're people, they're like jerky, herky-jerky.
They're herky-jerky, yeah. But it lends to the chaos and just bewildering state of mind that Max is in the moment because he's like out of it. He's like, and he's just running. So that kind of lets the audience kind of feel that in a way as well, because it is very disorienting to watch that.
Yeah. When watching this movie the entire time, like as soon as that shot opens to the Mad Max in his car and the lizard, which I love, there's so many iconic shots in this movie. It's like doing a 3-foot rail of blow off, somebody's butthole. And then you just don't stop for 2 straight hours.
3-foot butthole. Damn.
That's that whale you were talking about.
Oh, that's not white whale. That's
I said blowhole.
Oh, sorry.
You misheard me, Steve. And you never stop. So he breaks free, starts running around. The war boys chase him. And I love that throughout this sequence, they're kind of laughing. Like, the whole setup for this movie is that they're going to die in their mid-20s at best anyway. And so because of the propaganda from Immortan Joe, like, they love the idea of dying in battle or dying. They just want to die in a cool way. Like, life sucks, right? And so they're like giddy, laughing. And at one point he jumps.
It's just boys being boys.
He jumps on the hook. And he's hanging there. One of the war boys falls, and you hear him go, "Witness me!"
Yeah.
And then the other guys, you hear him go, "Loser,
mediocre."
Yeah, that's their whole thing.
Yeah,
mediocre.
Did they start the TikTok trend of calling people mid?
I think they did. It all started with Fury Road. Damn it. So he makes it to the precipice, and then the mediocre death happens, and then we get the title card.
Mm-hmm. And I like that they try to brand him at first. And
that's when he breaks free.
That's when he runs away. But then the first shot we see of Furiosa is from the back of her neck.
Yes.
She has that brand on the back of her neck. And I like how that really establishes that she's under the thumb.
She's property. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though she's this imperator and she has this status,
she's basically a legendary general, but she's laid low all this time to try to make her biggest. And now she has control of the war rig, which is the most prestigious thing to do in Immortan Joe's army. And they live at the Citadel, which is like the capital of the new society that has sprung up. Just to build a little world for you guys. There's Gastown and then there's Bullet Farm, which my understanding are both like vassals to the Citadel. Mm-hmm. And then there's the Buzzards and whoever runs the shit at the canyons. There are separate entities, and then the Many Mothers is their own thing. They used to live in the Green Place.
The Volvillians,
Volvani, I think.
Volvani, which
I wrote it down later.
Vulva, get it?
Yeah, women.
Yeah,
vaginas.
Yeah.
So guys, how vaginas work?
I did see there was a cool little bit of lore that got cut. Was like, you know how when they're driving through the swamps to get to the quote unquote green place, you see the guys who are like on stock.
Yeah, the stilts guys are crazy.
Yeah, the stilts guys, I think they're called like crow hunters or something like that. But they're the men who are cast out from the women tribe because they can't trust men. So if they're of boys ever born, they're cast out into that tribe and they just live in the swamp.
You just throw them in the swamp?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, I noticed when the men show up, it's Nux and Max, but he's like, who are the men? And
ew.
Yeah. Ew. Wainers.
Gross.
Bunch of slangers. Swinging slangers over there.
Schlanger.
So we're at the Citadel. Furiosa has her own steering wheel, which I thought was neat. It's like it just made it like more prestigious. Like, this is mine. I got to lock it into my car. It's so ritualistic and cool. Even though I'm not like a car guy, like I feel like I am after watching this movie. We get introduced to the war rig. Their whole plan is to head to Gastown. Immortan Joe is getting fitted for his big speech, and he's got these like fake war medals and stuff on his like see-through armor. Yeah, just dope ass dude.
This one's here for when I let an old lady cross the street. This one was when I won the Pine Box Derby. This one here is
Pine Box Derby.
3 years in a row. I'm the greatest Pine Box champion that ever lived.
We should have just had Tom Hardy's Bane voice somewhere in this because it's so close.
Oh,
I can drive a war rig.
I really am impressed with your war board. Does this make you think you have power over me?
You merely adopted the patriarchy. I was born to it.
What are we doing?
Yeah, he's just confused. And so, yeah, he's getting fitted for his like stupid fake king outfit. He gives his speech, which is basically,
Don't be addicted to water.
Don't be addicted to water.
Hooligans.
No, but only weak people are addicted to water. And then he talks about the gasoline mission that they're on. And they're also going to go stop by the bullet farm to get some bullets, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm. Make a quick pit stop over there.
It's never clear, but I'm guessing they get bullets at the bullet farm.
I just made that connection.
And he talks about the highways of Valhalla and everybody's chanting V8. I just love the engine Viking themed religion that they have. And then he dispenses some water, but not enough and not too much because he doesn't want them to become addicted to it.
Only the people who camped out at the break of dawn got any water.
Yes.
If you camped out like any later, you did not get any.
This is like Coachella.
Yes.
It's more like Fire Festival, actually, from watching the documentary. This is actually
left.
This was actual footage of the Fire Festival.
Yeah.
Then the war party drives off and Furiosa takes stock. She's looking at all the people that are with her. We cut to Max in his cage. And then that's when somebody pulls him out because Nux is about to pass out. He needs a blood transfusion. So they're careful, universal donor. I'm doing good with the Australian so far, I think. What do you think, Steve?
I like how they call the doctors organics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
mechanics, but organics.
Yeah. It's so good. The world building's better than Harry Potter. I mean, it's thick if you get into it. Furiosa turns off course. And she's a legend among these people. So even though like her first mate, whoever the fuck that guy is, did you get annoyed
Steven?
every time Carl, every time Carl pops his ugly mug in the window, I got super annoyed.
Where are we going?
Hey, you're still going that way. Okay.
Okay, boys, we're going a different way.
Wait, are you sure?
Did I stutter?
And so he keeps popping his ugly mug in the window, but she's a legend. So they're like, no, okay. And then he does kind of question her, though. You can tell he's suspicious about it. And he's like, never mind, new orders, heading east. And we cut to a scene of all the, I don't know what to call them. I'm very sorry, but in this universe,
Milk mothers.
The milk machines. That's what they're being used as.
This is the milk farm.
The wet nurses. Yeah. Rictus takes a sip and goes, moo.
Because that dude looks like a giant muscly baby.
Yes.
Nathan Jones, the terror of Bogger Road. He has like the nose thing in his.
Yeah, he's got oxygen
Can't
on.
breathe, and just a grown man taking a sip of milk and then going moo as like a sign of approval.
Yeah, he's got a very low IQ, and his
Guy
brother
used to be a wrestler. Do you know that?
I didn't. His name is Rictus Erectus. Which was he in the WWE or was he like?
Yeah, he was in WWE for like a cup of tea.
Really?
Called his name Nathan Jones, the Terror of Bogger Road.
I didn't know where that
His whole
reference
thing,
came from.
His thing was like he was an Australian who broke out of prison.
Okay.
So I guess he just escaped the island. Am I right?
Yeah. I was about to say the same joke.
Got him.
And then his little brother or older brother, who's actually smart but is differently abled, we'll say, his name is Corpus Colossus, which is kind of an ironic name.
These names are just
And there's another one named Scabrous Scrotus, but I don't know which one that is. I just know that to be a
probably
fact.
the one that looks like a scrotum.
You think so?
Probably.
I'm guessing. But then again, Corpus Colossus, not so much. But Corpus uses his telescope to spy on Furiosa and says that she's going off course. Joe freaks out and runs to check his vagina vault, we'll call it. And there's the old woman caretakers in there. And she's like, fuck you. But I don't know why she doesn't shoot him. I guess she's scared, or maybe he's viewed as a god amongst his people. So, but she does stand up verbally. They left and they're never coming back. And you have a tiny PP. They never liked it.
That's what they said.
And you suck and your kids are stupid. And you're ugly. Can't read good.
Rictus was like, what'd that mean?
Moo.
Moo.
Moo over. And then she shoots the ceiling, but not him. But he's angry that his prized breeders, quote unquote, his words, not mine, have been taken. We cut to Slit and Nux, the two buddy war boys. And by the way, do you know the names of the breeders? Because for the first 5 watches, I did not.
I knew one of them. I thought one of them was called Splendid.
Yeah, there's shortened versions, but their full names are Toast the Knowing, the Splendid Angarod, and Splendid is her short name.
Okay, that's because I thought, oh, that's Splendid. And then they started calling her Angarod. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know who she is now. I'm
And that's like
confused.
the
Who's Splendid?
super pregnant favorite one.
Yeah.
I think Toast the Knowing
There's
is
also Cheeto, just
There's
because
Cheeto.
I thought that was a really funny name.
Capable is the redhead, and then the Dag is the other one.
The Blondie,
Her name is
the shock blonde.
Yes, and I think Toast the Knowing Toast is Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah. Which I forgot. This was before I knew who Zoe Kravitz was. When I
Well,
first
this is
saw
one of her early roles.
Yeah. So when I watched it today, I was like, oh shit, that's
Yeah.
Zoe Kravitz. No shit.
It's Catwoman.
Oh my God.
And then there's also, so we cut back to Slit and Nux, and Nux is basically arguing with Slit and actually punching him, saying, I want to be the one that drives, because he's actually a higher rank than Slit, is my understanding. But because he's so sick, Slit's going to get to drive I forget what they call them, the follow car or something like that. Way cooler name than that. But
Yeah, they have like a little bit of an antagonistic relationship where he's just trying to overjump him.
But then he overpowers him and says, I'm going to die historic on the Fury Road. That's Nicholas Hoult, by the way.
Hitch up my blood bag.
Yeah, but because he still needs his transfusion, they strap Mad Max to the front of the car, Max Rockatansky, and they just drive off. And then we cut to one of the coolest things. And I remember the very first time I watched this, I was like, what in the actual fuck is going on? But the giant truck that's filled with speakers and drums and the guitar guy on, rubbery strings on the front.
Like bungee cables. Yeah.
So we get diegetic music throughout the entire movie. And that's how they like rile up their war party.
He's got like a flamethrower guitar, double neck guitar.
And I think
apparently that thing weighed 110 pounds.
I bet.
Yeah, that guitar. It's so messed up. There was a comic book that was supposed to come out detailing the backstory of the what's it, the Doom Warrior? Is that what they call it?
I'm not sure.
The Dong Warrior?
Dong Warrior? Hell yeah.
It's something like that. It's like Australian slang for outside rave.
I don't know his name, but there's a book called Shiny and Chrome, I think, that's all about like how this movie was made, because it was actually a shit show, this set, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
It almost didn't get finished for many years. So it's a miracle this thing exists. But yeah, that I think as you're watching this for the first time, that's where you either lean forward and you go
Doof Warrior. Sorry, that's his name.
Doof Warrior. But wait, I like Dong Warrior. And you're either all the way in or you check out immediately when you see the guitar guy, right? When you see the Dong Warrior. So
yeah, that dude's a vibe.
Also,
that dude is a vibe.
Did you watch this with subtitles on?
Yeah.
Some of the words that, like, there's a whole language, and I don't know what's Australian slang and what's sci-fi invention. But like when Mad Max almost gets hit with the spear, or maybe it's when they speed up with nitrous and he starts to get like, he says confuckamus, which is like a play on Confucius and Christmas and fuck, I guess.
Well, there's also earlier in the scene, I think it's when Nux and Slit are talking. I think Nux says something like, I will be McFeeding in Valhalla. Like,
yes, McFeeding.
And it's legitimately a McDonald's reference, because in the future, they don't know the context of what the Mick is.
Yes.
So they just adopted like, let's McFeed.
I love it.
Yeah.
So much. This is McBullshit. Like they just said it for everything. But when he drives up to the war party, there's a cool moment where Nicholas Holt's character Nux, he shouts for a Morton Joe, and it's like there's like a dolly zoom almost, but while driving, and then it zooms in on Morton Joe's face, and he looked at me because he's like a god to him, right? Yeah. So he thinks he's almost assuredly awaited in Valhalla.
He was scanning the horizon.
Yeah, he didn't look at you. He didn't like you. You're not that cool.
I'm awaited in Valhalla.
And they're children because they've been lied to and propagandized, proselytized their entire lives. And I think Nux's character is one of the most intriguing in this movie because he's so earnest and eager, and that even in the first half of the movie, when he's the antagonist, he's so lovable in his own like deathy way, killy way, murdery way.
Oh,
you know? Yeah. And like you just want to hug Nux, and that's what Capable sees immediately. Yeah, like I'll give you Nux. So then they send up flares, which is calling for reinforcements from the Bullet Farm and Gastown. But the war boys on Furiosa's rig see that, and they're kind of getting a little more antsy, like what the fuck's going on? The war rig is spotted by Tuscan Raiders, which is weird, and
the buzzards.
Yeah, what are you doing on our patch? And so they take after him immediately. They say, "We're just gonna fang it." Is what Furiosa says.
Fang it.
Again, I don't know if that's Australian slang or if it's sci-fi talk. I assume that one's Australian. It reminds me of A Knight's Tale when Alan Tudyk says, I will fong you. Something completely different, I think.
So to fang it means to drive as fast as you can also be used to encourage your friends to hurry up and get to the bar. That is an Australian slang.
So we're just going to fang it. So it's like rattling your dags?
Kind of. Fang it. Gotta get to the bar, boys. Fang it.
All right, let's rattle our dags and fang it on out. So that's what she says. And they're like, okay. And again, this window guy is like, all right, I guess we're just going to fang it, guys. You know, and he gives the vibes of somebody who's like 2 years from retirement and God damn it.
I just work here. I don't know, guys. I just work here.
Look,
okay, don't ask me any questions.
Don't blame me. Just do your job and clock out.
I clock in. I do my thing.
I get on the wall rig.
And then I go home.
I kill people. I throw spears.
I drink mother's milk. Moo.
One day I'll be witnessed.
One day. One can only hope.
I mean, I got a 401k to spend in Valhalla. I'll tell you that.
Yep.
I haven't spent a penny of it.
Nope.
5% match. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. And we see, Slit and Nux catch up first. Max almost gets hit by the spear. And again, I'm going to do my best with these notes, but everything is chaos. And the guy gets hit with, I love this scene. The first time we get to see like their kamikaze style and all these cars, like there's like backhoes put together and like everything is cobbled together and repurposed from the old world. And I love that. And all this chaos and fury, there's all these tiny little details, like the little porcupine cars and shit. And like she has like a pedal holder that looks like the things that you use to measure your feet.
I think it is that.
Yeah. And she's like clicks that in and then swings out and shoots people chasing her. It's really fucking cool. But yeah, one of the guys on top gets shot with like 2 crossbow bolts as he's going to throw one of his spears at one of the buzzards. And then all of the other war boys are like, come on, like especially Nux, you can do it. Because you have to die in like a cool way, just like Vikings to go to Valhalla. So
you got to be cool.
He stands up, sprays his face with the chrome and says, witness me, and then jumps, and it's spectacular.
Yeah,
but then all his buddies go, mediocre, right? Like you can't, they're all teenagers basically in their minds. Like they can't acknowledge anything. Even when somebody dies, it's like, decent.
So if you, so when this movie came out, the market value for edible spray paint like skyrocketed. Silver edible spray paint.
That's a real thing.
Oh yeah, it's for cakes. Like it's a silver paint that you use for like cakes. So if you actually go on Amazon and read reviews for silver edible spray paint, you'll get reviews like "will not guarantee entrance to Valhalla." So shiny, so chrome, but really don't spray this on your mouth. You won't have a good time, but it's very shiny.
You won't have a good time?
Apparently, it does not guarantee you a spot in Valhalla.
I want to do that though. And just shout witness me and then do something really inane like click my seatbelt in or something.
Witness me. And then you draw that like S on your hand that you used to make in high school.
That was so random. Like the 6 lines that you connect.
Yeah.
It's fun times.
You said mundane, so.
Yeah. Yeah. But his name's Morsov, and now his name is Mediocre Morsov. We do see like some of the quote unquote breeders crawling under the rig. And this is where my first note of all caps, the fucking editing kicks in. Furiosa tells her to stay out of sight, and then the buzzards are ultimately defeated. And then Nux says, bring home the booty, and speeds up a little bit. Booty meaning the breeders and Furiosa. So they start like shrieking toward this giant otherworldly sandstorm. Yeah. And the thing about,
wait, what? What's that? Oh, off in the distance, Chris.
Did you summon the sandstorm?
Is that a sandstorm off in the distance? Oh no. Chris.
It can't be stopped.
Get inside. Oh, there it is. There it is. Oh no. Is this a sandstorm? It's going to drop.
It's a
Here we go.
Garuda.
Here we go. Ba-da-da-da. I fucking love this song. If there was ever a need to video record the Patreon episodes, it would be right now.
I can't turn it off. It's too fucking cool.
Oh no.
But we got shit to do. We got Last of Us coming up soon.
I will lose my, if I'm in a club and that song starts
How
playing,
often are you in a club, Steve?
almost never.
If I'm in the club,
I do remember being at like high school dances and they would play that sometimes, and I would just lose myself. I became a different being.
so I was obsessed with techno for a while as a kid.
We call it electro.
And we also loved Dance Dance Revolution. I'm not sure if you are familiar, Steve.
I have danced.
But I was so lame. I played it on the PlayStation controller.
Oh, you lame-o.
And danced with my thumbs.
Boo.
But I had a friend who was actually good with his feet. But yeah, Sandstorm is one of the coolest levels on that game. Anywho, they drive into this crazy ass desert storm, not the 90s war. And sorry, Bill Clinton, not you, buddy. And that they do ultimately lose a lot of the people.
I just want to say I'm a huge fan of Sandstorm myself.
Daruda.
Daruda is an American pastime.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
But I kind of did. I'm an asshole.
You're counting blowjobs too? Run that back.
I'll run that back. Yeah, I'm a dick.
Max is trying to break free during all of this, the whole skirmish. The first mate guy has had enough. He starts to try to choke Furiosa. Nux loses this all happens very fast. Nux loses a tire and says, hey, put the blood bag in the back to redispense the weight. And then Max loses a shoe fighting the guy Slit. And that's what's so cool about this movie. If you've watched it a million times, that Mikey Newman breaks it down in his video, but he's like, this movie's so fucking genius that one of the B plots is literally just
Following the shoe?
the shoe
Yeah.
being lost. And then Max getting one from Nux. And then later his friendship with Nux progresses to where he has to get a shoe for Nux because he doesn't want his buddy's feet to be cold. And this entire plot with like twists and subversions happens around this shoe without a word from anybody about it. It's just this like visual B plot. It's fucking incredible. But that's where he
Almost
first
like
loses the shoe.
script was a storyboard.
Almost. God, that'd be cool if that was. And then many of the Boar Boys get carried off into the tornadoes. And this is where we get one of my favorite lines of all time. It is Nux, played by Nicholas Hoult. Oh, what a lovely day. And it's right in the middle of all this chaos. He's just so happy. Like, this is awesome.
Day.
Did you watch this in 3D the first time? Do you recall that?
No, I did not.
So it was actually cool. Like at the end, like the guitar guy, when he dies, I remember the guitar like
Comes at you.
was still strapped and coming at you. Yeah. But in this scene too, all the bodies flying around in the tornadoes were all like flying around the seats. It looked like really neat. I rarely care if something's 3D, but this was a good use of it.
Yeah, this is a really visually captivating sequence.
Yes.
Like the flashing lights and the deep reds. It's beautiful.
We got to go warp speed through this plot now. I'm so sorry. Max sees Nux trying to go all kamikaze, witness me.
I live, I die, I live again.
I live, I die, I live again. And Max is like, excuse me. Don't want to be on this car.
Or prick.
Oi. And Max ultimately kind of wrecks the car in front of Furiosa. No way he survives this, by the way.
No, both of them are dead.
They're going like 100 miles an hour. He flips. He's on top of the car and just, but it's sand. It stops his fall. And
it's like a little cushion.
He's also the main character.
It gets everywhere.
He's extra strong. He cuts to him in a pile of sand. Again, the sound design is incredible. He pulls the pick line. We got a lot of medical staff that are patrons, but I think it's like a pick line is what that is. The IV thing from his neck. He's chained to Nux, who is unconscious. And then he gets a dusty ass sawed off shotgun, tries to shoot his arm off, which I think is hilarious. He's just a very practical survivor person. It doesn't work though. It's too much sand in the gun, I'm guessing. Again, I know less about guns than I do about cars.
I think that's fair to say.
Everyone's recouping from the sandstorm, knocking off exhaust things, and I don't know what they're doing, but car stuff.
Yeah.
Too much sand.
Too much sand.
Max catches up to the war rig, and then it's when he sees all the women. Some of them are pregnant. I think 2 of them are pregnant at least. And they're all doing a wet t-shirt contest, which I think is very inappropriate for like trying to escape. Like, why would you stop to do that? But hey, I respect it.
Sand gets everywhere.
It does.
It's coarse and it gets everywhere.
It does.
All right.
We got to get the sand out of our Volvani. And I'm sorry.
God damn it.
God damn me. I hate myself more than you hate me, Steve. Just know that.
Okay.
They're taking off their chastity belts, which look gnarly. And they're gorgeous women anyway, like regardless, right? Like even in the 2023 non-apocalypse, beautiful women. But amidst all of the ugliness of this universe, like the reveal of them for the first time, and they're all in white and they're hosing themselves off at the same time too. It's like the contrast is so alarming, even to me, the viewer. But then Max is like, what's up? You know, like he's taken aback. You can tell, like, first off, he's thirsty. Like literally he wants the water. He wants the water, but he's like, what? And if you notice, there's like somebody's pulling focus and the women go in and out of focus when it cuts to Max's POV. And it's almost like it makes them look like an oasis. Like, are they real? Like he has no idea. Like, cause he's crazy. He sees shit that's not there all the time. Yeah. So I love that little, the delicate nuance of that scene where he's kind of like blinking and stuff. Like, okay, this is a new one, you know, new vision. But Furiosa has her arm off because I forgot to mention that she's had her arm cut off. We don't know how.
She's an amputee.
We'll find that out in the prequel, I'm assuming. One of the
fake arm is a mechanical wonder. Just saying,
it is.
This world that is a mechanical wonder.
There's a scene in this scene. It makes me giggle because she has one arm and somebody tries to hand her the bolt cutters and Max goes, mm-mm. And it's supposed to play like he doesn't trust she looks like the one that's battle capable. So he wants one of the wives to do it.
Yeah.
But it also, to me, I always chuckle to myself because he's thinking she literally can't do it. No, not going to work. No. But yeah, it's one of the wives. The first thing they say when they see Max is we're not going back because they think he's an agent of Immortan Joe. And he sees the water and he's like, dang, I want some of that. So he makes one of the wives give him the hose and then, chugs it, voraciously. And we zoom in on Furiosa's brand a little bit again, just to hammer that home. He chugs the water. The water starts to wake Nux, which I thought was really well done. He wants them to cut the chain. So that's when he tells them to bring over the bolt cutters. And then we see Joe in the distance. Everybody's kind of nervously glancing at the war party that's encroaching. And there's a really cool
wind or a curious vexation.
Yeah, a furious vexation.
Oh, furious.
I think that is, it's not toast. It's not Cheeto. It's the dag.
One.
It's the dag.
It's the dag.
Is it the wind or a furious vexation? Is this the acting that you don't like?
Yeah, she's terrible.
I had a feeling. Furiosa tackles, and then we get a really cool fight between Furiosa and Max. And you can see how capable she is, even with her arm. I guess she took that off to get the sand off.
Yeah, it gets everywhere, Chris. It gets everywhere, right?
I get it.
And this fight scene is so awesome because they're tumbling around, and the whole time they're like, the chain is, shaking up nuts.
Especially when Nake's,
he's slowly waking up during the whole fight.
When he wakes up and gets so eager, like, fuck yeah, blood bag.
Yeah, let's do it. We found him.
He's so lovable in his antagonism. Like, he's just like so excited. Like, get her.
He's like Gollum in the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. That's a good way to think of him.
Except Gollum went full evil. He went the opposite way.
Yes.
But yeah, they fight over this gun, and it's such a great back and forth fight. She beats him with the water hose at one point, and then finally, at this whole time, Nux is fighting with the other women over the bullet clip, and he eventually makes this dive and has the bullet clip on the ground, and Max is able to load it, cock the gun with his boot,
and then fires three bullets. Warning shots.
Yeah. And it's intense, man.
Yes.
It's a legit intense exchange.
It's one of my favorite sequences of all time. I adore it so much. And especially with Nux, like, glory me, blood bag. So shiny, so chrome. And then I put Nux is so cute.
They'll give us anything we want. And he's like, that's my coat.
Yeah.
You can have more than a coat.
You can have more than a jacket, you silly.
Silly
but Max is just going to leave them because, again, he's an ice cold survivor, and this is the part of his character arc, because this is where his character is at this point in the movie. He gets in the war rig and just leaves. And they say, we're going to the green place of many mothers. And he's like, I don't care where you go. But the rig doesn't work without Furiosa. We find out in a few moments that it's going to stall. And then Furiosa gives a pep talk to the wives, like, hey, out here, everything hurts. Like, you gotta, whoever wants to live, grab some shit and run. One of them just grabs the fucking piece of her dress. Like, okay, grab stuff, got it.
And then the dag spits on the chastity belt.
Yeah,
which is a fun little character.
I like that moment a lot. So then the war rig stalls. She comes up and says, hey, I can drive this thing. It doesn't work without me. I know the kill switch sequence. And he says, you can get in.
He's like, I really like Kill Switch Engage. It's a dope band.
Yes. One of my favorites. And then she said, no, you've damaged. And then, so she says, I'm not leaving without all of us. And he says, well, we'll just wait here then. And he's real petty about that, like a child. Like, well, I guess we'll just wait and talk to Morton Joe then. How about that? See what he has to say about the kill switch. I bet he likes that band.
I bet they're part of the band.
Yeah.
That's the guy. You didn't know?
I know a guitar guy.
That's the guitar guy. That's the Kill Switch Engage guy.
He's the Dong Warrior.
That's what happened to him. That's what they call him, the Dong Warrior.
And she says he's not going to be as happy as you think. You've damaged one of his wives, his favorite, actually.
Of all the legs you could have damaged, you damaged his favorite leg.
The favorite leg, man. He's got two of them that he loves, and that's one of them.
That's one of them.
Curiously enough, the other one's on a different woman. Long story.
He's a weird guy.
You know how they're all different lengths and stuff sometimes. But this is 2,000 horsepower of nitro boosted war machine and with a 5-minute head start, baby. Let me get in here. And he's like, all right, cool. Hop in. And it's the thing off his face that gets him. Cause he's still thinking about it. And she says,
still got that muzzle.
Don't you want to get that thing off your face? And he's like, yes. Oh my God. It's so itchy.
Here.
Girl, get in.
Should have opened with that.
Girl, please. So she gives him a file and then does the kill switch sequence. Max finds 20 guns over the next scene or two. That's a really neat thing, a neat way to cue the audience of what's in stock for them to use later in the movie.
Yeah, they use that really well.
They're all Chekhov's guns. Nux wakes again and follows. And then what'd she say? She calls somebody, I think Max, but I think it's the dag that says, crazy schmig who eats schlanger.
Yeah, that's the dag. She's calling Max that. Yeah.
I don't know what schmig is, but a schlanger is a penis.
Yes.
It's actually a German word.
What was the first word?
Schmig. Crazy schmig who eats schlanger.
I've got a bunch of Australian phrases up and I'm trying to.
So schlanger is German for snake, and then it's become Australian slang for penis, I think. But that's when the Gastown boys show up. They notice them. There's polecats, big rigs, flamers, and the people eater himself is like the curmudgeon leader who basically he's like a tax guy, basically. He's a CPA of the apocalypse. And they're dragging the...
Okay, so apparently schmig just means a ton of different things. So I can't help you out with that one.
I like to think it just means bag of dicks. So Furiosa realizes they're dragging the fuel pod, which we can assume is what Nux did when he climbed on the war rig. He disengaged the hydraulics for the fuel pod. Max offers to go because he doesn't trust her, and there might be a bunch more guns back there. So he takes the bag of guns with him and goes back there, replugs in the fuel pod, but he didn't find her little gear shift knife. Nux busts into the cabin, starts to choke Furiosa, but the wives grab. I keep calling her.
They kick him out.
I know they're not wives, but I hate calling them breeders repeatedly.
Yeah.
So the ladies.
I think you're fine calling them the wives.
Yeah, the wives grab him, and then they decide to save Nux out of pity. Like they stop Furiosa from killing him. Like, hey, no more people have to die. Then that was our deal.
But they do chuck him out.
They do, but it'll be fine. We've established in this universe landing in the sand is not a big deal.
It gets everywhere.
But they try to question his propaganda with him before they toss him. You're just battle fodder.
Like, wake up, sheeple.
Yeah, come on, man. Here's a website you can go to. It's called
Daily Beast.
I'm just kidding. But then by the way, Furiosa and Nux spit on each other briefly in this exchange at one point.
Yeah,
which I appreciated.
A lot of spitting. They're wasting water. It would be a sign of respect if this were Dune.
Yeah. We got like 15 minutes to blow through. So I think we can do it. They pull into the canyon. This is where the motorcycle guys are. Furiosa asks Max's name because at this point she wants to trust him and she realizes I need him for this. Actually, let's be friends. But he doesn't run that way.
No,
I don't have friends. He doesn't tell her his name.
He don't play that
She
game.
says, okay, I'll just call you fool then. She teaches him the kill switch sequence, which is 1-1-2-1, red, black, go. And if you ever need to drive the war rig, you can thank me for telling you that. And she had made...
Thanks, Chris.
She had made a deal for safe passage with the motorcycle guys in advance, 3,000 gallons of gasoline in exchange for safe passage. But the guys are pissed because you said a few people might be following you. There's an entire war party back there.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
3 whole groups.
Super upsetting. And she figured they would betray her anyway, right? So that's why she's ready for this. So true to her word, when she gets back, when she feels like it's time, she screams, fool! So he engages the switch and kicks the war rig into gear.
It
and
would
then
sucked if he didn't actually got it.
Yeah, he was like 1-1-2, fuck, black, red.
Shit, what comes first? Okay, I don't have it. I'm sorry.
I don't know your name either. You need to come back here though.
Bald lady.
Yeah, bald lady.
Bald lady.
And she tries to jump into the war rig. One of the guys,
she's under the rig and she's trying to go through that like secret hatch in the bottom. And this one dude on the bicycle just does the sick like slide underneath and like grabs her.
I'm gonna get you.
Like I don't know what his plan was.
He's really into feet,
but it was really, really cool.
He just couldn't resist when they were dangling there.
He's like, look at them piggies.
Look at them piggies are dangling. I'm going in for those.
I'm going all into that market. Let's go.
But yeah, so they start taking off. Everybody's shooting at them and shit. They give chase because they want the fuel. By this time, the war party comes encroaching, but they blow up the canyon entrance and stop the war party from joining this particular chase.
But Joe's car is able to get through.
It is because he can go off road. He's got like monster truck wheels. But that's for later. That's a different scene though.
We find out that
make way for the Ripsaw.
Splendid seems to be like near having a baby.
Yeah, she keeps having what seems to be contractions throughout this first half of the movie. They get stopped by the avalanche. Nux is brought to Immortan Joe because, hey, this guy, he was there with him. He's got a piece of her clothes. And so he gets to hop on Immortan Joe's car. Slit tries to join too because he's got Max's boot. Hey, I got something. You like
boots?
And then the Bullet Farm and Gastown call bullshit on this whole mission, especially the Bullet Farm guy.
All this for a family squabble.
Bleh. That actor is really cool.
Bah humbug.
Joe goes off road. The canyon motorcycle fight is so fucking epic. They're so nimble with their motorcycles. And then the score, again, I've said score in all caps, by the way, in the last 2 paragraphs twice in my notes. And that's when I said the rig is like this living, breathing machine. They have that dust defense. They're using the wives to reload the guns is their role. And at one point, Splendid is unable to reload the gun fast enough. And you can see her acting is really good because she gets this look on her face, like where she's not able to contribute to the group. And she's very upset with herself by that. So it's at that moment when Furiosa is going to get shot by Immortan Joe that she opens the door and blocks her because she knows he won't shoot her. That's her favorite. Plus she's fully pregnant. The fuel pod gets blown off. And so the rest of the motorcycle gang decides to stop pursuing because that's all they wanted was the fuel. Really cleverly done. Joe closes in. Rictus is on top being dumb as shit. Moo. Splendid is his favorite again. Like I said, so a war boy dies to save Joe, gets shot by Furiosa. They're running out of bullets. Nux offers to help. And he gives him this mission from God himself.
I will carry you to Valhalla myself.
Yes.
But then Nux just epic fails immediately. His chain gets caught.
Yeah.
In something.
Drops that cool cowboy pistol that he had.
Mid.
Yeah.
So
Mediocre. And then more Schlanger is screamed. I forget at whom. The steering wheel gets caught because Rictus shoots this like grapple hook into the car. It catches Max's arm and the steering wheel. So that's how they lose that. But Furiosa is quick with a monkey wrench. To get that thing back.
Foo Fighters start playing.
Yeah. Don't want to be a monkey wrench. In case you guys didn't know what he was referring to. I don't know why I did that. I'm very sorry. So that's when Splendid is climbing out of the truck to help. She gets hit because she's the one that cut off the grapple hook wire. She almost gets hit by this rock. And there's this... I cried this time around. I usually don't, but I cried because it's the look that Tom Hardy gives her. Max gives her that thumbs up. Like, I actually do prefer that you did not die. That
was pretty cool.
I'm not a complete monster. I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah.
And that's what, like, through his POV just made me identify with her so much. And then next she slips on her bloody foot though, which is bloody because Max shot her. And that's what makes it all the more tragic. Like, she would have made it if she wasn't all bloody from when Max was being a dick. But it's what allows the gang to escape because she gets run over and dies. But Joe is obsessed with her. So he wrecks his own car, kills one of at least one of his guys.
He tries not to hit her. Yeah.
Yeah. Just wrecks his vehicle. And that's how they get away. And they want to stop and help her, but he says she went under the wheels. And we cut back to Joe's rage and Rictus channeling Joe's rage, just pointlessly shooting his Gatling gun into the air and screaming, "Daddy's mad!"
Hey, you know, the bullet farm is right there.
Yeah, that's right. It's true.
They're not want for bullets there.
And this is where we get to the dark night of the soul of the movie. Everybody's devastated that Splendid has been killed. The rig stalls again. Cheeto tries to run back to Joe. She's so terrified now. Like, fuck it. I'll just be
I'll be one
under
of his
the thumb of the patriarchy. But Furiosa shoots the two people that are coming up to grab her. And she's actually kind of sad for a second. And they get a little talk with the words of Splendid to cheer her back up. The war party starts to collect itself. Max is asking about the green place. They're taking inventory of what bullets they have left. They do find Nux sad in the very back seat. It's capable that finds him.
My own blood bag driving the rig that killed her.
Yeah, he's just I was at the gates of Valhalla thrice and was denied. My whole life's a lie because that's all he wants to do is die in a cool way because he's going to die anyway. And that's what's so on the nose about this movie, and still people miss it. A woman who has been reduced to a breeder under the thumb of the patriarchy is the one who teaches Nux that women are capable of doing things. Her name is Capable. Like, George Miller couldn't make it any more clear, and still a bunch of neckbeards miss it, right? It's okay.
Well, they wouldn't be neckbeards if they weren't obtuse. So
that's true.
Yeah,
you're being obtuse. I always think of Shawshank Redemption when people say obtuse in that context.
That's a good. Yeah, a good.
What'd you say to me? And he gets really mad at him for calling him obtuse. I'm acute.
I'm isosceles.
Thanks, Steve. So yeah, she kind of befriends Nux and, you know, is very, very kind to him and pities him. This is where we get the McFeasting line. I think the second time I should be McFeasting in Valhalla. And she
McNuggets.
She introduces him to Larry and Barry,
his two friends. If they don't get me the night fevers, well,
yeah, his two tumors, my mates. We also see a cool line or hear a cool line that Splendid calls bullets the anti-seed. You plant them and people die. It's the opposite of seeds.
That's kind of cool.
Dude, calling bullets anti-seeds is amazing. They have to stop and change a tire. One of the war parties hits some traps that I think Max left or Furiosa left.
In the mud?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're starting to get trapped in the mud.
In the quagmire.
Yeah. And this is some really cool, great day for night shoots going on because the scene takes place at night, but they clearly shot this in the day and like overexposed during day so that we
get that blue light.
Yeah. So and they overexposed. So like even in the darks, you can still see the detail in the dark, like the shadows that are happening, even though this is night. So they definitely like shot this during the day, overexposed the camera so you can retain that detail in darks, and then in post make everything blue and then darken.
There's only really two colors in this movie. It's like orange and teal.
Yeah. It's great. And then I think there's a shot where one of them is like has a lighter in the cabin and everything's blue, but the glow of the candle makes it orange if you're in that glow, which is really cool.
It's super well done. I love the color grading in this movie.
The organic opens up splendid and
pulls the
gets
fetus out
and says, Rictus, you lost a baby brother. He was perfect in every way.
I had a baby brother.
And Rictus is like, moo.
Perfect in every way. And then the war party's also taking literal inventory. The people eater, the CPA of the apocalypse is like, we've used 30,000 gallons of gasoline. We've lost 7 cars and 13 motorcycles. And my boil on my ass is chafing. The bullet tooth guy is super upset. And we cut back to the war rig with Nux trying to be super eager and helpful now that Capable has made him a friend of theirs. And he has the idea. I love this little detail. I've actually never picked up much on this before, that he's like, it's just over there beyond that thing. We'll have the high ground. And she's like, he means the tree.
He means the tree.
He doesn't know what a fucking tree is. He's never seen a tree. Like there's no crops in this world anymore. There's very little of them, at least. And Morton Joe keeps a lot of that shit to himself.
I mean, there is a lot of greenery on the top of the plateaus in the Citadel.
Yeah, that's Joe's and his fuck fault, and that's it. And there's only people that get to go up there.
Joe and his fuck fault. The bullet farmer gets on his like cool like V8 on treads gun.
Yeah, he's like, I'll take care of this.
I'll take care of it. And he's like shooting blind.
I'm going to use my bullet tooth to kill her.
He's got like a spotlight, and so
nothing could go wrong.
No, not at all. And so Max tries to snipe the spotlight out.
Yes,
but he misses twice. And Zoe Kravitz is like, "Oh, you down to one bullet?" And so Furiosa is like, "Here, let me do it." And it's cool because Max is like, "Oh, I trust you to make the shot more than I can
because he's a good ally.
Let me use my shoulder."
She's more capable than him.
And he lends her a shoulder.
He's a real man that can acknowledge it, so he lends her his shoulder. Thank you, Steve. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's fucking amazing.
And she shoots out the spotlight, and it goes into the bullet farmer's eyes, which renders him blind. And then I love the shot where he's like taped up his eyes, so he looks like the Justice Lady, and he literally says, "I am the scales of justice."
Yes. Again,
the choir for the conductor of death. Gun fever.
A little on the nose, but still everybody's missing that he's talking. That he's Lady Liberty with his fucking guns.
Yeah.
And he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Prison system, bad guy. Anyway, cool engines. And so they got to cool their engines. Max,
cool your pies.
Max runs off, and I love this is the scene I was alluding to earlier, and we got like 5 minutes left. But so when Max disappears and he kills all of the enemies that are still lagging behind, and he comes back covered in their blood with a shoe and a steering wheel, it's sad that we don't get to see that. But it's also this is where you need to have seen the original Mad Max movies, because that's George Miller's way of kind of chuckling like. You remember he's a bad motherfucker. Like you're a fan of this franchise. You know what he can do. Just assume he was doing that stuff. This is Furiosa's movie now though. Right. Mm-hmm. And I kind of love that now, even though previously I always wanted to see that. But it's cool because you get that cool moment of knowledge of the character. And like, there's some nostalgia to it because through the points of view of all of the wives, they're like, "Oh my God, you're bleeding. What happened?" You know, and it's
not his blood.
It's not his blood. He's a bad motherfucker. You should have watched the first 3 movies, girl. Zoe Kravitz, you were too young. You weren't even born yet. But he's got a shoe for his buddy Nux. And he takes a breast milk bath. By the way, breast milk is incredible for your skin. So he's a smart guy for that. And then we see the swamp things with the stilts guys. Furiosa, was taken. We had a backstory for her. She was from the land of many mothers, the Green Place. She was taken as a young child. She's been a slave to Morton Joe ever since. So she's searching for hope, or is it redemption? And he's searching for hope. I don't know, but they talk about hope and redemption.
She's looking for redemption. The others are looking for hope.
That's right. It's the wives that are looking for hope. She's looking for redemption. And Max gets intrigued by that because he as well needs redemption. One of the most quoted lines, the most memed scenes in this whole movie happens next. They see the naked woman on the tower and Mad Max says, "That's bait." Which that frame is used a lot under comments of people trolling. We meet the Volvolini. The vagina peoples. She's the daughter of Mary Jabasa from Clan Swaddle Dog, right? And they're like, "Holy shit,
Swaddle Dog!
Mary Jabasa's daughter from Swaddle Dog?
Throw them fingers up, Swaddle Dog. Let's go!"
And I love that you can tell like how under the thumb she's been and how long. she's, they emerge, they embrace her, they recognize her immediately. It's our Furiosa. How long have you been gone? And she says 7,000 days, right? Like she's
Plus
counted the days.
I don't remember.
Yeah. But it's like on a prison wall, where you do the corny chalk lines or whatever. They don't trust men. There's no more green place. We had a sad moment where they realized the swamp they drove through, the nasty, terrible place with the crows, was the green place. Furiosa is devastated. She falls to her knees and screams. We get some cool interplays between Valkyrie is the naked one's name, right?
7,000 days is roughly 19 years.
There you go, buddy.
Sorry, I was curious.
No, I get it. I meant to Google that before we did this. I thought it was about 20 though. And so they carry around seeds with them. They grow things, but they also kill people. They will. A cool line. I think it's the Dag who talks about how she's pregnant as well. And little baby Joe, little baby warlord, going to be ugly as fuck, which I thought was funny. And she's like, maybe it'll be a woman. And she looks intrigued by that. And Furiosa wants to run across the salt, right? Which they don't know what's on the other side, potentially nothing, but she knows, like, she does some math. We can each get on motorcycles. We can survive for at least 160 days. Maybe we'll find some kind of livable place on the other side of that. Max, do you want to come with us? And he's like, no.
I'll find my own way.
I'll make my own way. And he says, this is when he says, hope is a mistake. If you fail to fix stuff that's broken, you'll go insane. And he says that from experience. But then he has a change of heart. It's his fucking character arc, baby. This is the plot that people say doesn't exist in this movie. He stops them, cuts them off on his motorcycle. And he's like, hey, new plan. Why don't we just go back to the Citadel?
Back the way we came?
It's unprotected. Straight back the way we came.
I like this plan.
And maybe we
I'm
can
a fan
take
of it.
what we already have and make it better, which would be good as a message for a movie. And he looks right at the camera.
And winks.
And then I love one of the women in the background when he says we should go back to the Citadel, says, I thought you weren't insane anymore. Yeah. Just one of those cool lines that you were talking about. And then they dap it up, him and Furiosa. Mm-hmm. And this is where, again, we're running so far out of time. The final battle sequence is more chaos. The guitar man dies. I know that.
It's awful.
Furiosa gets badly wounded.
Slick gets smushed. Furiosa gets smushed. She gets stabbed. The original naked lady that was bait.
Yeah, she gets run over,
which is really sad.
I hate that because she dodges the first car.
Yeah,
kills a few war boys, and then fucking
I love the
turtle CPA kills her.
Turtle CPA. I love the polecats, which are the guys on the big giant poles.
So good.
That whole scene with them like swinging and grabbing Max and trying to like throw his
and that's all
head.
practical.
It's practical. Yeah, he's actually driving with a string that's keeping him just above the ground, which is scary as fuck because that's such an insane shot. And there's some really great action. You guys really owe it to yourselves. If you're listening to this and you haven't watched the movie and you have no interest in watching a movie, just go out of your way and just at least YouTube the final chase scene. It's some incredible stunt work, incredible practical effects. It's crazy.
Yep.
But yeah, eventually, so their plan is to go through the canyon where the buzzards were, and they're going to blow up the canyon behind them so that the war party can't follow them, so that they can just go back to the Citadel and take it. And they're able to do that by getting onto Immortan Joe's car. Furiosa like kind of snags one of his grappling hooks into Immortan Joe's face, and is like, "Remember me," and then sticks it under the tire, so the tire kind of rips his like whole face off.
Yes,
which is super cool. And they hop on his truck. Nux is like, "Hey, you all go ahead. I'm going to drive it, put it in neutral, and then I'm going to hop over myself." But then Rictus rears his moo face up and he literally like rips the engine out of
strong boy.
He's a strong boy. He rips the engine out. Nux finally sees his moment for people to witness him and for him to die on his own terms. And he has his final line, "Witness me."
Yeah.
And he crashes. He purposely crashes the rig so that he can block his
arc
trail himself.
Notice how every character gets an arc because it's a fucking brilliant movie.
Yeah, and then they're able to get into the Citadel. They're let in because Furiosa is a boss. She almost dies, but Max saves her with some
because he's a scavenger. Mm-hmm. So he's like, everything has a use that might come up later. So instead of ripping the pick line all the way out, he just wraps it up and ties it to his shoulder. Like, I might need this later. And he fucking does. Yeah. It's Chekhov's pick line.
He gives her a blood donation. He's also a universal donor. Her lungs. She's able to stand tall, and the people are like, "Let them up." And they're able to go up into the Citadel and assumedly reclaim it. But Max is
to go liberate the people.
To liberate the people. They open the waters. What was the little guy's name?
Oh, Corpus Colossus.
Corpus is kind of looking like, "Oh, fuck.
What's up, guys?"
Ooh, I was always on your team.
Yeah, I always liked you, Furiosa.
I always liked you guys. I always liked you.
I was the one that voted for you to be Imperator.
Yeah, 4 more years. Furiosa. Yeah. But Max kind of sneaks off because he can see that he did some good. He got his redemption. Furiosa got her redemption. And that's where the movie ends, where Max can go and wander the wasteland some more.
I hope you guys love this movie as much as I do. I don't know how that's possible, but I hope that you do. Thank you for all that you do in supporting us doing this show. It means the world to us. We fucking love you people more than you could possibly know. That was Mad Max Fury Road. Look forward to February's poll coming out very soon. We've got to run and go cover The Last of Us Episode 3, which you've already heard. That's the magic of podcasting. That's all the time we have for right now. My name is Chris.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Streaming Things.
Witness us.
Witness us. Shiny and chrome.